covered for superelevation. So under superelevation, so we're going to go through sections, parametric constraints, controls, superelevation section per alignment, and those separate files. Edited how we edit that graphically, and then also by the superelevation dialog, and then also importing superelevation by CSV and editing that. And your host for this is going to be Jordan Lerner. So Jordan, I will let you go ahead and still the screen and start off with superelevation.
Right on. Well, thank you, everyone. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let me go entire screen, and we're going to go this entire screen. So I've set up a pretty basic file here to kind of demonstrate what I think is important about superelevations. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how to actually create a superelevation. Or actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to back up a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the fact that there are really two different ways to control the cross slope of your road. So the first way is to set parametric constraints for whatever your template is. We'll cover this a little bit more on Tuesday with our meeting all about templates. This will serve as a bit of a prequel to that. But in your templates, you can set parametric constraints to when you go to create your corridors, manipulate those cross slopes, and those cross slopes will function as superelevation. That particular methodology is good for shorter roads or for just quick tie-ins to existing. Anything where you don't have like full superelevation control, but more just cross slope manipulation of the road. What we'll be covering today, more than that, is creating superelevation templates. So these superelevation templates are going to be a corridor-wide superelevation control, more similar to traditional superelevation design like you would find in the Green Book. The way to create a superelevation template is going to be in your corridors workflow. If you head over to this superelevation tab, everything that we're going to be doing today is going to be through here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my superelevation section. So that's this drop down here. It says create superelevation sections. You can name it whatever you'd like. You can name the particular section whatever you'd like. One thing I want to talk about real quick is this minimum tangent length. What this is going to do is it's going to say if you ever have a tangent that is more than this length, it will start breaking your superelevation templates up into individual templates per horizontal curve. So as an example here, I'm going to set a minimum template length at something very low, say 50 feet. And when I go to create the superelevation sections here, what you'll see is that for each curve, each horizontal curve along this alignment, it's going to create a new superelevation section. So I'll just click through here. It says locate corridor alignment. I'm going to add it to this alignment. When I create my superelevation sections, I really just lock to the start, lock to the end. That's going to give you a superelevation section that starts at the very beginning, ends at the very end. Like I said, we've kind of got our minimum tangent length here. We'll go over this lane creation method later. For right now, I'm going to do manual rather than by template. And you just click through the creation method, clicking through all your prompts. You'll see here that each of these curves has an individual superelevation section associated with it. This is not a particularly clean way of modeling your corridors. What we tend to like to do is make sure that there's only one super elevation section for each corridor that you are modeling. So you have a couple of different ways to do that. If you go through what I just did here, and your tangent section is shorter than any of the tangents that you have, what you can do is you can just delete all of your tangent sections here, and then just leave one, and you can just extend that all the way to the end of your alignment. That's one method of making sure that you only have one super elevation section for your whole alignment. Another way you can do it, I'm going to just delete this again, and I'm going to again go to my create super elevation sections. If you make this number ridiculously big, it will ensure that you just create one super elevation section for the entire length of your alignment. So I'm going to set it to 100,000 feet, longer than any tangent along this alignment. I'll locate this alignment. Again, I'm going to lock to start, lock to end. You can see again, minimum tangent length is that nice 100,000. And now that I've done that, it just creates one super elevation section for the whole thing. I think this might be a good place to stop our recording and take questions about just the template creation.